Hey guys, it's Meredith and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to look at 5 commonly mispronounced words in English. These words are based on my experience as an American accent coach and the kind of words that I hear my students mispronounce over and over again. Some of them can be tricky because of their spelling or the way that they are pronounced in your native language. Before we get started, make sure you head over to my website to download a copy of my free pronunciation guide for Spanish speakers. This guide covers 5 pronunciation errors that most Spanish speakers make when they're speaking English. It also has audio files and guided exercises to help you solve these issues. The link will be in the description below. Okay, now let's get started. The first word is focus. I hear a lot of different mispronunciations of this word, but the problem is usually in the vowels. The first vowel is O. It's a round O sound. So the first syllable is faux. The second vowel in the second syllable is schwa, which is the vowel sound that we make when it almost kind of sounds like we remove the vowel entirely. So imagine that we go directly from k to s with a little bit of a vowel in there. How would that sound? Kus. Okay, so we have faux and kus, focus. Listening to music can help you focus on your work. Now let's move on to word number 2, mountain. That's right, it's not mountain. Nope. The first syllable is moun. This is a round diphthong sound. Ow, moun. And this is also the strong syllable of the word, so that means the second syllable is the weak syllable and it's going to be reduced. Now, how we reduce it. In the American accent specifically, the written letter T can be pronounced in one of 3 ways. It can be a true T, like in take. It can be a tapped T, like in water. Or it can be a glottal stop, like in button. Now, in another video, I will talk about the glottal stop and how to produce it and how it works, so check out my channel to find that information. But in short, I stop the air here, like this, For example, when you say the word uh-oh, that stop you have in the middle, you're stopping the air with your throat, uh-oh. And in words with a tin ending, such as, we don't pronounce a true T. Instead, I stop the air with my throat and pronounce them with a glottal stop. Certain, Latin, curtain, flatten. The same thing happens in the word mountain. Now it's possible you might hear some people pronounce a true T and you will hear mountain. That depends on the context, accent, and personal preference. But the prevalent pronunciation in American English is to replace that written T with a glottal stop and pronounce the word mountain. Our third word is surface. If you pronounce this word incorrectly, there is a strong likelihood that it's because you're pronouncing what you see written rather than what you hear said. In fact, most of the time when I hear mispronunciations, it's because of this. Consciously or not, whenever you think of the word you want to say, you probably somehow visualize the written spelling of this word. Or you learned the word along with its spelling, and so whenever you get ready to say this word in English, you just visualize or imagine the way it's spelled, and so then you associate the two with each other and you try to pronounce the word the way you see it in your mind written. But in English, we have to trust our ears and not our eyes. Language is, yes, a written thing, but I think the goal for most people is to communicate. And real, authentic communication is usually spoken. Try to disassociate from this tether that you have to the written word and simply say whatever you hear, repeating and mimicking the pronunciation that you hear instead of trying to create a pronunciation that matches whatever the word's spelling is. This will save you a lot of frustration when you find over and over again that English words are often not pronounced like they are spelled. Learn the pronunciation first, absorb it, internalize it, use it, and then you can associate it with its spelling later once you already have the correct pronunciation in your mind. Anyways, this word is pronounced surface. So even though we have the word face right there in its spelling, this word is not pronounced surface. Sir is the strong syllable. So in consequence, the second syllable, the weak syllable, needs to be reduced to allow the strong syllable to sound strong and to give the word its rhythm. The word should sound like da-da, surface, surface. If we pronounce this word surface, then the 2 syllables sort of sound equally strong. Surface, surface, da-da, da-da. And we want this word to sound like da-da, da-da. So we need to reduce that face to fs, so that we have surface, surface. The fourth word is kind of a 2-in-1. The contraction its, or on its own, it. Now the problem here is that many second language English speakers, and especially Spanish speakers, take the 2 sounds, e and I, and combine them into one sound, pronouncing both of them usually as E. So rather than this kid still music listen, we get something like this kid still music listen. And this is a pretty important distinction because this one vowel sound makes the distinction between some pretty key words. And getting it wrong can lead to some pretty embarrassing mistakes. Maybe you know what I mean. So again, non-native speakers are often combining the vowel sounds E and I into one single sound. And the same thing happens with the word it's, which is an insanely common word and is often the beginning of many sentences. So when this happens, my students sound like they're saying eats all the time. Eats, 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 eats. Eats hot outside. Eats time to go home. Eats no big deal. Eats nice to meet you. In my free pronunciation guide, I teach you how to make the difference between E and I. So not eats, but it's. It's hot outside. It's time to go home. It's no big deal. It's nice to meet you. All right, time for our fifth and final word, culture. I hate to beat a dead horse, but if you pronounce this word incorrectly, it's probably because you're trying to interpret the letters that you see written and what sounds those letters represent in your native language. That means that most of my students end up pronouncing this word culture or some variation of that. If you ever aren't sure how to pronounce a word that you see written, try to find a way to hear this word said out loud. Because remember, we want to trust our ears when it comes to learning new words in English and not the letters we see written on the page. This word is pronounced culture. Culture. The first syllable is the strong one and our vowel sound is This is a relaxed vowel sound. Just relax your lips, relax your tongue, open the mouth, and just make a sound. Cul. The second syllable is the relaxed syllable, meaning it has a schwa. So we're kind of gonna do something like we go directly from this ch sound, and in this word the T represents the ch sound, to the sound. And that will sound like chur. Together, that's culture. 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 Thank you so much for watching. Mastering your pronunciation so that you have a really natural flow and rhythm when you speak English will make you feel so good and so confident about how you sound in English. But please remember it's not an overnight process, and remember to be kind and patient with yourself as you learn and grow. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my future pronunciation videos, and leave a comment if this video helped you out. Have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye!